On this week's edition of The Overtime, we're taking a look at women's soccer across northern Arizona. Then, we'll take a trip through the golden glowing aspens on the Kachina Trail. Finally, a special guest joins us as we look ahead at the rest of NAU football season. All that and more on this edition of The Overtime. Hello and welcome to The Overtime, Northern Arizona's only sports show. I'm your host, Adriana Sparks, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Alyssa Munoz, who's actually making her TV debut. Alyssa, how are you feeling tonight?
Thank you so much, Adriana. I'm feeling amazing and especially thrilled to be a part of this week's show. We have plenty of great stories to share today.
I'm so excited to have you here, Alyssa, but you're right, we have so much exciting content for you today, so let's just jump right in.
This past Sunday, the Northern Arizona women's soccer team faced off against the reigning Big Sky champions, the University of Idaho Vandals. Sports reporter Ashley Hinchy was out at Lumberjack Stadium for this huge showdown.
It was a sunny but windy Sunday afternoon at Lumberjack Stadium, where the Jacks took on the University of Idaho Vandals. This was the first time the Lumberjacks had faced the Vandals since losing to them last year in the Big Sky Final. But the Jacks, who were on a 2-game win streak, fought hard and confidently before losing 3-2. Still, head coach Alan Barrios never stopped smiling from the side.
You know, we came in with a good game plan. We knew that they were good in the air. We trained that all week and prepared for that as much as we could. I thought we gave up some silly fouls that led to opportunities in the air for them, and they capitalized. I mean, they beat us on 3 set pieces.
In the first half of the game, the Lumberjacks took an early lead, with sophomore defender Erin O'Connor scoring her first goal of the season. However, the Vandals quickly caught up, ending the half 1-1. In the second half, the Vandals dominated, pulling ahead 3-1 with just 20 minutes left. Then, sophomore forward Michaela Boakes netted a penalty kick in the final 5 minutes for her first goal, despite having 6 shots on goal so far this season. This closed the gap 3-2.
The bounce back after going down 3-1 was really good. I thought we gained momentum after that. We made some changes, and that group that was in the last 15 minutes of the game was really good. I think we created some opportunities, and that's all you can ask for. We didn't give up, and being down 3-1, sometimes maybe it is easy giving up.
The Lumberjacks play against the Portland State University Vikings for their 3rd home game in a row at Lumberjack Stadium on Friday. Ashley Hinchy, NAZ Sports.
Now, the Lumberjacks are sitting at 2-2 in conference play and only have 4 regular season games remaining before the Big Sky tournament. All of their remaining games are against Big Sky opponents, so I'm sure Coach Barrios is looking to secure some W's and even try and revive their win streak heading into the end of the season.
I completely agree, Adriana. If the Jacks come out on top against the Portland State Vikings, they will have a winning record in the Big Sky Conference. Staying on the topic of soccer, the Northland Preparatory Academy's girls soccer team took on the Payson High School Longhorns Tuesday afternoon. Sports reporter Reese Clark was there to catch the action.
Good ball, great ball. Let it go.
The Northland Preparatory Academy girls soccer team rallied past Payson 3-1 to capture the Fall Central Region title Tuesday at Sinawa Middle School. The second-ranked Spartans fell behind early, but quickly bounced back to continue their quest for a 3rd straight state title.
Well, we just won the region and got a first-round bye and probably going to jump to the #1 ranking, so that's great for them to have earned that.
The NPA Spartans knew the regional title was at stake coming into this game against the 3rd-ranked Longhorns and had the goal of putting the ball in the back of the net multiple times.
And we knew we needed to beat them, and the mentality was to know that we need to beat them and know we need to beat them by a lot.
The Spartans' initial goal was to come out strong and get an early goal lead. However, the Longhorns beat them to that, scoring the first goal of the match. The Spartans made adjustments necessary to stay in the game.
We switched some players around that we needed to kind of adjust to. Some of their players were in different positions that we weren't expecting, and we had to adjust to their team as well.
These adjustments worked well for the Spartans, and they were able to end the game with a 3-1 win. Now they look ahead to a new goal for the season.
To win state, and so I think that's just the biggest goal, is to win state and to get there.
The Spartans wrap up the regular season on the road Monday at Round Valley, and then we'll have a week off before the state playoffs begin on October 29th. Reese Clark, NAZ Sports.
With 6 2A state championships under his belt, I'm sure that Coach Blair is looking to add another win in the books. We have got to go on a quick break, but stick around for our Get Out There segment where we talk about the amazing Kachina Trail and all it has to offer.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
Welcome back. On this week's edition of Get Out There, our sports and adventure media crew took a short trip to the Kachina Trail, a truly stunning hiking trail almost 9,000 feet up on the San Francisco peaks. Check it out. On this week's edition of Get Out There, we're exploring the Kachina Trail on the San Francisco peaks and enjoying the aspens as they change colors for the fall. There may not be a better place to celebrate the beginning of autumn. In the summer months, the trail is lined by wildflowers and waist-high ferns. But come fall, ancient limber pine and aspen groves transform into a meadow of golden bright lights that illuminate the ferns and the wildlife, like this baby horned lizard. The 5.5-mile trail covers much of the south face of the peaks. At the 2-mile mark, the trees clear into a panoramic view of Flagstaff. And on clear days, you might even catch glimpses of the Mogollon Rim and Oak Creek Canyon. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that black bears and bull elk do call these areas home, but often run away when sighted. Otherwise, you can expect to see woodpeckers, squirrels, and other little critters all along the trail. The Kachina Trail is not only a beautiful hiking spot, but a stellar reminder of the fiery origins of the San Francisco peaks and the immense biodiversity of northern Arizona. Adriana Sparks, NAZ Sports.
Wow, what a gorgeous location that is, and how grateful are we to be able to call this place home. I definitely have to take a trip out there.
It certainly was beautiful, Alyssa. We're headed into another short break, but don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll be joined by a special guest star as we take a look into NAU homecoming weekend and what it'll take to beat the Idaho State Bengals on Saturday. Stay tuned.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Welcome back. NAU football took on the Montana Grizzlies last week, falling 31-20 and dropping 1-2 in the Big Sky Conference. This week, they'll be at home in what is most likely a must-win homecoming game against the Idaho State Bengals. Sports reporter Noah Butler has the story.
After 2 tough away games against FCS-ranked opponents, NAU will play in the J. Lawrence Walkup Skydome to take on the Idaho State Bengals in the 2024 homecoming game. This will be head coach Brian Wright's first homecoming, and he looks to carry forward the recent success the Lumberjacks have had in the ceremony-filled affair.
Well, it's an opportunity to play a home game, which is nice to be back home after pretty long stretch of being on the road. And the opportunity to play in front of a home crowd and be great to be a part of the tradition that has been here at NAU and build on it. So I'm excited to see it for the first time.
The Idaho State Bengals are the first non-ranked team NAU has faced since September 14th against Utah Tech, which they won handily. Idaho State is 4th in total offense in the Big Sky Conference, but 10th in defense, including the worst rush defense in the conference. NAU, on the other hand, is 6th in the conference in offense and boasts a top 3 defense. Wright knows how important the run game is to this matchup and that his Lumberjacks will be attacking the Bengals from all angles to have an efficient offense on Saturday.
And a lot of times you're just taking what the defense gives you. So I think we have to be very multiple with our rushing attack. I think we have to create some leverage and some angles to be able to handle some of the things they do, because they do bring pressure and they do some things that can cause you problems.
This game will be key to a Lumberjack playoff push, as NAU's 3-4 record with its strong schedule of games puts it in a position to make the FCS bracket. Noah Butler, NAZ Sports.
The team recently cracked the top 25 in the FCS division for the first time since 2018. Here to give us his thoughts about the subject is KJAX sports reporter Brian Adams.
Thank you for having me, Adriana and Alyssa. I'm excited to be here to talk about the rest of the NAU football season.
NAU football is 1-2 in conference and 3-4 overall. With only 5 more games left in the regular season, Brian, what do you think we need to see from this football team if they want to make a run in the Big Sky?
I think we just need to see consistency. I think it's important for the defense to show up each half. We've seen the defense be elite all year, but against teams like Montana, they average 41 points a game, and when you have an offense who is struggling to score like they did last game, you expect eventually it probably will fall apart. But if you can get consistent like both halves against, they had struggles against Incarnate Word, against Montana, but if you get 2 halves of great defense, it loosens everything up for your offense. It gives your offense more, you're able to relax a little bit and not worry so much about scoring every drive and having to respond.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, Brian. It's not like this is a weak defense. This is an incredible defense. They're ranked 13 nationally in total defense, 19th nationally in scoring defense. I think what the big thing is, this is twofold, right? So it's not just about defense. I think a big improvement that NAU can make is scoring on behalf of the defense, right? We have so many turnovers all the time with Alex McLaughlin in the backfield. Just last week against Montana, he forced a fumble, which was returned for a touchdown. But there's more to it than just that. If the offense can continue to capitalize off of those defensive turnovers, I think you have a lot to look forward to in this team.
And NAU defense has been lights out the last few weeks. Do you anticipate that this is going to hold up against the Idaho State Bengals on Saturday?
I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't hold up because, the defense, like we mentioned, they're 3rd in the Big Sky in points per game. They're number 1 in pass defense. Idaho State has a great pass offense behind Kobe Tracy. He's the 2nd highest pass yards per game passer in the Big Sky. But this team has showed up against teams like U of A, against high-scoring teams like Montana. They only had 3 at half. So, this defense has shown up and they've showed that they can take on and handle these high-scoring teams. And so I have no reason to believe that they won't do that this week.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you again. Defensive coordinator Adam Clark has just had a field day with these young quarterbacks. With Alex McLaughlin, he's got 48 tackles on the year, like I mentioned, 9 just from last week. Amon Allen and Tommy Ellis are right behind him. With those kinds of weapons in the backfield, you can put a lot of pressure on a young quarterback if you bring him up to the line of scrimmage. And I hope that's what they end up doing, because that is what is going to really affect those big explosive offensive plays like you mentioned that the Idaho State typically does. But it's like you said earlier, you got to see consistency. It's not going to just work in the first half. If you want to see it through, if you want to give your offense that time, you have to see it in all 4 quarters.
Exactly.
And NAU is undefeated at home, and the remaining opponents are all Big Sky. How important is it to finish off this season strong?
Obviously, it's important to be, anytime you're playing a Big Sky opponent, it's important to play well. And especially towards this end of the season where the team has gone through some injuries. They've gone through some things that have not been ideal, but they've always competed. Right. The team's never not competed against no matter who they played. And so when fully healthy, I think this team is one of the best in the conference and can make a playoff push. But you have to give the voters no reason to not put you in. You have to show that you can compete with anybody and that you are going to, and you have to have results. Competing is not enough. You have to get wins. And so at the end of the day, the team needs to play well at home, just rack up some wins, and try to make a playoff push towards the end of the season.
I totally agree with you. I mean, you're 1-2 in the Big Sky. These next 4 games, especially the ones that you got at home, all against Big Sky opponents, these are absolutely critical to win. But, I look at last year under head coach Chris Ball, and at this time, we were only playing for, a winning division in the upper half of the Big Sky Conference. And Brian Wright has been very clear since August that he has the goals that he has for this team, really the sky's the limit, right? His goal is that he wants to be playing meaningful football in the month of November. And if you want to do that, you absolutely have to win these next few games. He's mentioned before that he believes that maybe the first half of the season they were against tougher opponents. Maybe, you got U of A, you got Incarnate Word. And not to say that the next few weeks aren't going to be difficult. They absolutely will. Like you said, you're still playing football. But they are still must-wins. But I'm with you. I see a lot of optimism for this team, and especially if they can pull out these wins at home, I think they can make a playoff run.
Well, thank you, Brian. I'm afraid that's all the time we have today. Thank you all for joining us for this edition of The Overtime.
I would like to thank our sports reporters, Ashley Hinchy and Reese Clark. I'd also like to thank my co-hosts, Alyssa and Brian Adams. I'm Adriana Sparks, and we'll see you next week for the next edition of The Overtime.